Xbox 360 is considered by many to be the best Xbox console and one of the best consoles ever made. It had a lot of success and a lot of great games and support. The Xbox 360 made Microsoft win the console war against the PlayStation 3 and the Nintendo Wii, and it was my first ever Xbox console. I never owned the original Xbox, but I did play my older brother's Xbox and I loved it, and I loved playing games like Halo or Ninja Gaiden or the original Star Wars Battlefront 2. And because of that, I would get an Xbox 360, and I adored that console. I played so many games on it, from Halo to Call of Duty to Bioshock, Fallout, Skyrim, Assassin's Creed, Dark Souls. So many of my favorite games and franchises came from the 360. However, in 2013, Microsoft would reveal the Xbox One, and it was an awful reveal. Like, look, I love Xbox, and I would defend it nonstop. But the reveal of the Xbox One was not a good reveal and really did a lot of damage to Xbox. Xbox was living it good. It was very popular and high, only to have its arms and legs blown off and then stabbed and kicked in the gut by Microsoft with the Xbox One. With them just wanting Xbox to go away from gaming and instead go to TV. This hurt Xbox a lot, especially with the PS4 showing nothing but games when it came out, only really just rubbing the salt in the wound for Xbox. Xbox was on its deathbed because of this, and even though I am an Xbox fanboy, I won't deny this. I won't deny that this was not a good reveal. However, I personally love the Xbox One, and in my opinion, it's the best Xbox console, because while it started off very rough and it was on its deathbed, it slowly recovered. Phil Spencer came in charge, and he really helped improve Xbox and he made it grow over and over. And they also got more studios like Undead Labs, who made State of Decay, Compulsion Games, Ninja Theory, and eventually Bethesda and even Activision. Xbox has very much recovered from how it was at the start of the Xbox One generation. However, today I want to talk about a game that, in my opinion, was hurt a lot by the failure of Microsoft and the Xbox One reveal, and was an unfortunate casualty of the Xbox One not being launched correctly. But in my opinion, it's one of the best Xbox games ever. And that game is Ryse, Son of Rome. Now, this game is a lot of fun, and I personally love it. I've made a few videos previously, and even did a Let's Play when I was still doing that. But I love this game. So first off, this game still looks amazing. This was a launch title for the Xbox One, and it still looks extremely good. And honestly, I would even say it's one of the best looking games ever. So as you can tell from the title, this game is set during the time of the Roman Empire, and you play as a Roman soldier. However, it isn't entirely accurate to history, and the historical version of Rome. Mainly from certain characters in the game, and also this game does have some supernatural elements with the gods interfering in the world. So the gameplay is very simple. You can either attack enemies with your sword, you can hit them with your shield, and you can block, and if you time it right, you can parry attacks, so you can get some counter attacks in. And you can also roll out of the way of attacks. You also have the ability to basically slow down time, and you can get a lot of hits in and you can quickly kill an enemy. However, you also have executions, which are finishers that you can do once the enemy is at low health, and the character lights up with the button that you have to press. And it's kind of like a quick time thing. And it's a quick time thing. They are really cool and brutal animation, and I always love doing them, even though if you do hit the wrong button, it won't punish you really. At most, it really just determines how much you get back in a reward, whether that be health or damage or whatever. But speaking of which, these executions are just so awesome, and depending on what you have selected, like I mentioned earlier, either your health will regain, your focus bar will regain, you will get a attack bonus, or you will get more XP. You also have moments where you can order your troops to defend one area while you can defend another by yourself, or you can have archers defend you, but your troops won't have suppressive fire and you'll lose some, or they can defend the troops and you won't have any. And there are moments where you get in formation with your men and block incoming arrows while you move your way up towards the enemy, and you can also throw a volley of palas at them as well. And these sections are just so cool. You also can use palas for long-range attacks, and while you can mainly aim it, it takes so long. It takes so long to get an accurate shot. But you can do it fast, though, but it's less accurate, and I would highly recommend that, because with how slow it is, it's frustrating. Also, this game can be pretty hard at times, especially on the hardest difficulty, but In my opinion, the difficulty never gets to the point where it becomes frustrating. Like, it's challenging, but not like it never crosses that line, in my opinion. Now, the characters in the game are great, and I can understand people's complaint about how there isn't really long cutscenes showing the characters' personalities, but I don't care, because this entire game is like an action game. So in my opinion, it does a great job with the characters for what kind of game it is. So there's Nero, who I believe wasn't the emperor when Rome fell, when Rome was invaded and destroyed, but his rule was seen as tyrannical, self-indulgent, debaucheated, and we honestly see this during the game, so it fits him being an evil emperor in this game. There's also Commander Vitalian, who is such a great character in this game, and also Commodus, who is the son of Nero, Boudica, the daughter of a barbarian king, and also Summer and Ego, who are both two gods where the supernatural element of this game come in. I love these characters, and they do great for what they need to be. They don't need to be anything else. And we also have our main character, Marius, who has one of the best voices I have ever heard in a video game.
Centurion Severus, to me! Display this from the highest place you can find. When the barbarians see it, they'll run. The battle will be ours.
So I should talk about the story that, while I really like, I wouldn't say is one of the best, but I still think is really good. So I think this game starts off perfectly with it starting immediately with the invasion of Rome by the barbarians. And you see Emperor Nero is freaking out, saying that someone is coming to kill him. However, he's only saying one person is, and not any of the barbarians that are invading the city. Then we see our main character Marius, and we fight our way to the palace, and we have to defend the entrance from waves and waves of barbarians. And then we enter, and then we meet up with the Emperor, and then fight through the palace so we can get to the safe room. And we have to fight a mini-boss, kinda, by who has a torch that blocks everyone else, so that it is a 1v1 against you. Marius and Nero get to the safe room, and Marius starts telling his story to the Emperor, because the safe room is, a perfect spot to tell a story while your city is under attack. So we go back to when Marius first arrived home after joining the Roman army, and he meets his family for some reason. You have a tutorial section here, which I've never understood, even though, you'll know how to play the game just because of the opening, but I don't know. I like this game, but this was always a weird decision to me. However, his father tells him the story of Damocles, but not the actual story. So the actual story of Damocles is about, the illusion of immediate and ever-present threat for those in power, and about a man named Damocles and him telling his king that, he has it easy. He has an easy life, how great his life is, only for the king to offer Damocles to take his position for a day with a sword hanging in the air by a string to show Damocles how hard his life actually is. Now, I honestly don't really like this story that much. Honestly, mainly because nowadays it's used a lot by political people trying to make their job seem more important and stressful. And, just make themselves seem like big and important. But also, because to me, what honestly ruins the whole point of the story is the sword hanging by the thread. Yes, a person in a position of power is going to have a lot of stress. There are going to be threats. There are going to be danger to them. But to me, it's different hanging a sword over someone's head and the idea of that, people are coming for you. There's a difference because, if someone it's not the same as people being upset because you're a bad leader than if you have a sword over you. Now, yes, you can be a great leader and people still want to do harm against you, but even that, it's different than putting someone in actual danger to prove your point. Meanwhile, without the sword hanging there, you wouldn't be in actual danger. However, enough about that, because that isn't the version of the story of Damocles that Marius' dad tells him. So afterwards, barbarians attack, and now, I've never had any problem with Marius' family being killed here. I've heard the complaints of people saying that we spent zero time with them, so their death didn't mean anything. But in my opinion, we the players shouldn't feel sad that they are dead. Because, to me, they weren't ever supposed to be anything else than what starts the story. Now, people will say that's bad writing, but I would use the example of a franchise that has done this way before Rise from the Realm, and no one had an issue with that, and that being the death of Bruce Wayne's parents in the Batman comics, movies, shows, games, or anything Batman related. Now, I know it's weird to all of a sudden talk about a comic book, but bear with me. So I've been a fan of Batman ever since I was a little kid. And to me, the death of Thomas and Martha Wayne weren't ever sad. Because to me, they weren't ever characters. They are honestly just things that start Bruce on his journey to become Batman. And I actually think most of the time the writers overdo it and make the Waynes be saints and these perfect people who do nothing but good things and are perfect in every way. The Batman is like that was made recently, I think is actually one of the few ones that didn't actually make them perfect, but it still did too much in my opinion. To me, they aren't characters or anything we should be invested into because they are only there to be the start of Bruce's journey to becoming Batman and the world's greatest detective and also the best superhero to me. And this is exactly what Marius' family is supposed to represent. Like, yes, Marius is already in the Roman army, but at the beginning of the game, we hear him say that he is being stationed in Alexandria, a peaceful place that will keep his mother happy. But Marius doesn't want that. He wants to fight. He wants to be on the front line. He wants to be on the battlefield.
Look, every inch the Roman soldier.
You look fine, my son. Welcome home. Welcome home. Do you know where you're to be posted?
Alexandria.
Ah, Alexandria. That's a quiet province. Your mother will be pleased.
I didn't join the army to bask in the sun, Father. I want to fight, like you did for the Empire.
All in good time, my son. All in good time.
However, he probably wouldn't have had this if his family didn't get killed, and if Commander Vitalian didn't bring him into the 14th. So to me, his family is just what starts the story. And you can say it's bad writing, but honestly, that would be the same case for Batman, for Assassin's Creed 2, and frankly, a lot of Assassin's Creed games. And there's a lot of games in general that start with someone close to the main character being killed.
Belongs to the people, the city for the people, an empire.
I used to be an adventurer like you.
So we fight through Rome, but unfortunately our father is killed by a sword with a symbol on it, and then Marius joins the 14th, and we join the fight against the Britons, and we are heading towards a beach. Chains are lifted from the ocean and block our path. So we have to go around and destroy the supports holding the chains up, and we get to see that Marius is a natural-born leader. And I also would have never expected to have a Saving Private Ryan moment in a game about the Roman Empire. So we fight up the beach, and this section right here sucks. You have to throw the spears at the archers shooting your men, but there's so much of them and they can easily shoot you because it takes so long before you throw the spear at them so they get multiple hits in or completely deplete all your men. I hate it. We then have to defend our men and launch a catapult at the barbarians, and we won the beach.
Commander Battalion!
Many good officers and men were lost today. Marius, you have proved that you can lead. You have earned the respect of the men. So, take this helmet and put it on.
Legionaries! Salute your new centurion! All right, settle down!
Settle down, lads.
Now, you know what you can expect from these barbarians. They are a race of rabid bastards who will fight us tooth and nail. But they
don't know what they are up against.
Rome is civilization! Rome is order! Rome is power! And out here, we are Rome!
Commander, King Oswald's barbarian army is advancing on York. General Commodus and the 6th Cohort engaged the enemy, but their fate is unknown.
Secure the remaining boats and get them unloaded. And prepare the men.
We march for York!
So we now move into the forest so we can take down King Oswald and his daughter and her men. And once they are defeated, then the war will be over, and this might be my second favorite mission in the game. I just love the green forest and the landscape and how much the red on your uniform stands out with all the green. And we get to see the brutality of the barbarians and like on our men. And at the end, you have a boss battle against Boudica. Now, this is something I think Ryse Sunrealm does not do well, other than for one exception. Boudica is hard to hit because you can only hit her after she does these 3 attacks, but instead she does lunge attacks over and over and over. And no matter how many times you swing or bash your shield, she will dodge it. So this, along with the next time you fight her, is more annoying than fun. However, we defeat her and we defeat more barbarians. For some reason, I keep getting shot in this cutscene by an archer. And then we capture King Oswald.
Or I'll end your bloodline. Now! Enough! Gods, we fight for the glory of Rome. What kind of glory is this?
The Britons will never commit to peace if this is how we treat them. This must be the work of the Praetorians.
Hold!
Friends of Rome, may I present to you Basilius, son of the Emperor.
Commander Vitalian. Congratulations on your safe arrival. Had it been any later, you might have missed out on all the fun. I do trust your journey was not too arduous.
Sir, I would like
Our Praetorian Guard will take over now. Guards, seize the Briton scum.
Your Highness, I must
In
protest.
case you're unaware, my brother Commodus is still missing. I intend to find out what these savages have done with him.
We Britons lived in peace under the rule of the old Roman chieftain. But this new chieftain, Commodus, son of your king, is evil. He deserves the fate that he is suffering. I've nothing more to say.
Then it is clear to me that you Britons do not love as we Romans do. You'll go. flog her until he talks, or she dies. Whichever comes first.
No! Hold your How dare you!
How dare you? I am son of the Emperor, and I do whatever I choose.
Please! No! Please! Spare her! I'll tell you everything!
Chieftain Commodus was traded to the Horned King in the Northern Lands. Beyond the wall. Please. Release my daughter. I beg of you.
See? There's really only one language these people understand. The language of force.
You will find your chieftain in darkness beyond the wall, where the lowering barren mountains tower over the black, bottomless lochs. Horned men from ancient times roam this land, and of those who venture there, few return.
Very exciting. Commander Battalion, I have a new mission for you. You will lead your men north to the lowering mountains and bring back my brother. Guards, lock up the prisoners.
Ready the men!
You heard the commander! Make ready to march!
Centurion, we march north.
Yes, sir.
So we have to head to the Northern Lands in order to save the brother of Basilius Commodus. And I honestly love this cutscene, and while I think Ryse doesn't have a lot of character moments, I really love this moment because Marius is in shock and even disgusted at what is being done to the barbarians, who, not that long ago, he was saying they had no honor and should all be murdered. But now he's questioning things and asking, if this is the mercy of Rome, what kind of mercy is this? We also see Commander Vitalian even argue a little with Basilius, trying to be not as harsh on the Britons, and he even gets a dagger pointing at him in this scene. And it really helps you really hate the Praetorians and also the people in charge of Rome like Basilius and Commodus, as it is even worse in my opinion. However, we march up north, and after we are ambushed, we have to fight through a dark forest, and we get this really nice cutscene of the goddess Summer showing up, and she basically pulls a Navi, telling Marius to stop being lazy and wake up, and we go and fight the wildermen that live here, and we also have to free some Roman prisoners. And I love the dialogue at the beginning where the Romans are trying to hide that they are terrified of the dark woods they are in. So we go to the Wicker Man and have a boss battle against Glot, the leader of the wildermen, and his boss is another one that isn't great. He has a really cool design, but unfortunately he fights exactly like the Bruce who you've been fighting throughout this entire level. But at least there are some cool quick time moments that make this fight somewhat interesting, but the hitboxes can screw you over so much, and this death was bullshit.
Governor, I bring before you Oswald, King of the Britons. He has renounced this rebellion. He will submit to the rule of Rome, and henceforth he will only fight to secure peace between our two great peoples.
Highness Commodus, all we ask is that my people are treated with fairness. Treated as equals. So that all may live in peace.
So that we all may live in peace. The peace treaty from Rome.
The Emperor's will! The Emperor's peace!
All he needs is the King's mark on that scroll, and then we can all leave this god-forsaken island.
Your Emperor, my father, he is indeed wise and fair. This is the Emperor's seal. It is a direct extension of his will and the power of Rome. Ryse. Embrace me.
King Oswald, here is your king. How dare you? You filthy, stinking dog! How dare you! You see what happens when you defy me? Never defy me!
By the Emperor's mark, his will is done!
Barbarians didn't kill my father. The Emperor did. Save Rome from them.
Now, kneel, you dogs! What are you waiting for? I said kneel!
This is not the time, Boudica.
My father is a god!
Now, up until this point, I think this game has been really great. However, the levels after this make this game absolutely fantastic in my mind and really improves on this game so much. And I love these missions. So we have to fight our way out of York, and we find out that the Emperor was the one that killed our family, not the barbarians. And we fight our way until we get to the courthouse, and then Marius decides to stay and tell Commander Vitalian to go back to Rome, because since he is a commander, they will listen. And Marius makes his last stand where you fight as long as you can until you are defeated, and Marius is shoved off the bridge and into the ocean below.
Damocles was a great warrior, a revered leader in a vast army. His cowardly commanders abandoned him. Nemesis, the goddess of revenge, allowed Damocles to return to the world as a vengeful spirit. A ghostly, black-armored centurion who would hunt down and kill each of the generals who had wronged him.
isn't killed and comes back and goes back to Rome, and we really see just how destroyed and just awful Rome has become under Nero and the Praetorians, and we get to finally fight them, and it feels so good because how much you hate them at this point. So Marius becomes Damocles, and I absolutely love this design of the Black Centurion. It just looks so badass, but Marius goes and finds Basilius, and I like that no one reacts to the fact that Damocles, the spirit of vengeance, is here, which, you know what, maybe I was right to use a Batman reference earlier. So, you fight in the battle arena, and it's weird that this place changes from a sex club to a battle tournament real quick. And this is what I meant earlier about how bosses are just reskin enemies, because you fight 2 champions, which are literally the same as a Boudica boss fight, but there's 2 of them. But afterwards, you get to kill Basilius, and we see that he was actually making something for Emperor Nero, and we fill it with his blood, so that way, at the beginning of the game, we see Nero's statue bleed from his eyes, and then we head to the Colosseum, which is absolutely my favorite part of the game. We see that Commodus completely rewrote the entire events of the game, has taken credit for everything for himself, which we fight our way through, and this whole thing just makes us hate him even more, especially since we were the ones that actually did it. And we finally fight him in a 1v1. So I said earlier, I think Ryse doesn't do boss fights good, and I do think that, but this is one exception. I love this fight. Commodus switches from fighting you by himself to putting smoke down and having multiple versions of him, and he can be kind of hard to fight, and he eventually poisons you, and you have to quickly execute the different versions of him before getting back to him, and eventually defeat him, and I love this cutscene that plays.
Damocles! I am vengeance!
I'm Batman.
So even though Marius just murdered Commodus and threatened the Emperor, Commander Vitalian notices you are Damocles from your fighting style and is cool with it, which shows why he's the best bro, and you rejoin the 14th. So we have to defend Rome one last time, and this final battle is just so cool. It starts with having to defend waves and waves of barbarians. You even have to fight some elephants, which was actually used in war back then, which just imagine how terrifying that would be, seeing the enemy come towards you on top of an elephant. Either way, we make our way to the courtyard where Vitalian is fighting Boudica, but unfortunately he is killed and we are knocked out by a boulder that explodes next to us. And while we don't have a scene of Marius mourning the death of Vitalian, I do think it would have been nice to have a full scene of Marius kneeling over him and being all sad. But this whole fight is going on, so he doesn't have time, which is sadly the case when your friend dies in combat. So somehow Marius is transported to his house, and this is what I meant by, supernatural elements that are in this game. And the Goddess Summer explains we have to kill Boudica, and we now decide to rise up, and we will save Rome from the barbarians and from Nero. So we fight our way to Boudica, and we have one last fight with her, which it's basically just a reskin of the first fight, but in a different location. And she has some new moves that are even more annoying. And we actually have a nice moment here where Marius and Boudica, it seems like they had feelings for each other, but because they were on opposite ends, it was never going to happen. This was never really brought up, but it's a nice moment before Marius cuts off her head. And we see that her head was actually what was thrown to the Roman soldier at the beginning of the game. And we go and we have to kill Nero. And after we chase him, we have probably the coolest moment in this game. So both Marius and Nero are killed and die from being impaled, or just from falling and crashing into the ground, and to me it's a nice send-off, and like a nice death scene for Marius, especially since he went out like a boss. And that's the end of Ryse Son of Rome. I absolutely love this game. It's a shame that it didn't get the love it deserved when the Xbox One did come out, due to how bad Microsoft revealed and released the console. But I still love this game, and I would love a Ryse 2. I feel like you could tell so many different stories set in different time periods with Ryse, like how Assassin's Creed does it. And, just have the games be, these short action games like this. It doesn't have these, it doesn't need to be these big open worlds. It can be these short action games where it follows along the lines of Ryse Son of Rome. To me, Ryse Son of Rome did everything that it needed to. And while it isn't perfect, I still love this game, and I do always enjoy coming back to it.